Good morning, ladies. Welcome to the Jewish Women Unite Omer Initiative. I want to actually just take a moment to thank Nomi and Shuli for this incredible initiative and all the amazing behind the scenes work that has gone into this incredible project, bringing it to you and to your homes. And also Rebbetzin Heller for her wonderful and inspiring introductions each week. Before I begin to introduce us to the week of Netzach, I wanted to just take a moment to help us plug in what exactly is it that we're aiming for in these 7 weeks. I think it's really important to just take a break, a little bit of a pause in the avoda that we've been doing day by day, and really keep our eye on the ball as to what we're aiming for. So really, this Omer period it's a transformative process where we're going from the more animalistic, base, more beastly, so to speak, side of ourselves to a more human side. And we see that in the sense that the Omer offering that was brought in the times of the Beis Hamikdash, it was a offering of barley, which is, as we know, animal feed. So what does that have to do with this time period? Then when Shavuot came, and again in the times of the Beis Hamikdash, we brought two loaves of bread, right, which again is animal food, wheat. So we see that from this, as the Nativa Shalom, the Slonim Rebbe points out, that we're really going from this transformative process of elevating the more beastly, animalistic side of ourselves and moving towards sacrificing the two loaves of bread in the Kodesh Kadoshim to the more human side of us. That's one way of looking at it. Another paradigm is, as one of my favorite teachers, Rabbi Yaakov Zalman Lubinsky, puts it. He coined the phrase that we are always making choices between remaining human or becoming divine. So whether you want to think of it in terms of the moving from the animalistic side of myself to a more human side of myself, or moving from a human paradigm to a more godly paradigm, either way, we're going through this transformative process. And as another teacher, a wonderful teacher of mine, Rabbi Tzadok Cable, pointed out in his Omer class that he gave us last week, that the reason we're bringing two loaves of bread in the Beis Hamikdash, so the double loaves represent, one loaf represents Klal Yisrael and one loaf represents HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So that when we get to Shavuot, we're not just going from remaining human to becoming divine, but we're partnering with Hashem in the Beis Hamikdash. By bringing the double loaves, that's our way of saying, okay, Hashem, we've worked on ourselves to the point where I'm ready to partner with you. I'm ready to be fully invested in partnering with you and fulfilling your plan for creation. So that's really what we're aiming for. We're aiming for day by day, week by week. I want to transform myself and bring myself to this place of truly being ready, being fully worthy and ready, Muchan Muzuman, to partner with Hashem. So that's one thing I wanted to hone us in on. The other idea is that there's two ways of describing Shavuot, right? It's referred to as Kabbalat Torah, and it's also referred to as Matan Torah. So again, there's this give and receive reciprocal relationship going on here between us and Hashem. Hashem is giving, and we need to really make ourselves into a vessel so that we can receive the light of Torah that Hashem wants to give us on Shavuot. And the last thing that I want to really hone us in on before getting into Netzach specifically is if we're going to really bring ourselves to a place of reliving, because again, we don't want to just commemorate the Shavuot experience. Every year when a holiday comes around, we're meant to actually relive that experience. It's like a spiral. So what is it that we're trying to actually bring ourselves to when we arrive at Shavuot? And I want to just remind us of the Psukim in the Torah and the Chumash, where Moshe Rabbeinu is recounting to the Jewish people the Sinai experience, and he reminds them by saying, "Ata harata ladas Ki Adonai hu Elohim ein od milvado. Meaning when he's describing to the Jewish people what is it that they experienced, right? What was it that we all, and if we're Jewish today, we were all there. We all stood at Har Sinai. So what is it that we experienced exactly? And Moshe Rabbeinu was reminding the Jewish people, and really he's reminding each and every one of us, you were shown to know. If you're a Jew today, it's because your soul was there and you experienced the reality, the truth. Ein od milvado. There's nothing but Hashem. Ein od milvado. We're going to elaborate upon that as we go through the week. But this idea being that, what does it mean, ein od milvado? That there's nothing but Hashem, that every situation that I'm in, every circumstance, every encounter, every conversation, hakol mikol kol, ein od milvado. It's all Hashem speaking to me. So that's the consciousness that we're aiming for. That's what we're really trying to build towards day by day. I want to bring myself to a place of ein od milvado consciousness. I want to bring myself to this place of a taharat ladas ki Hashem hu Elokim. Also, in recounting the Sinai experience, when Moshe Rabbeinu came back down from the mountain to ready the Jewish people for the receiving of the Torah. So he recounted to them Hashem's words, which were basically, I'm going to tell Moshe what this Torah is, and then Moshe, you be my spokesman, and you're going to give it over to the rest of Klal Yisrael. And what was Klal Yisrael's answer? No way. No doing. We want to hear it straight from the king, Moshe. Go back up and tell Hashem, we want to hear it straight from him. Ratzenu lerot malkenu, in the words of Rashi, right? It is our will to see the king. So what does it mean, it's our will to see the king? Again, it's this idea of we don't just want our amuna, we don't just want our experience with Hashem to be intellectual. We want to see Hashem. We want to see Hashem in every aspect of our lives. Ratzenu lerot malkenu. That's what we're aiming for. That's the avoda that we need to be working on in preparing for the receiving of the Torah and refining our midos and purifying our kli to receive. What is it that we're receiving? We want to receive you, Hashem. We want to receive an experiential, real, heartfelt, I can see you. I can totally see you and experience you fully in my life. So that's what we're aiming for. And as we work on these midos week by week, that's our way of saying, Hashem, I want to make myself into a worthy vessel. I want to be fully, again, prepared and worthy to receive this light, this experience. Now, briefly, just to say, so where does Netzach fit into this? And Netzach is really the midah that's going to totally catapult us forward. If for the last 3 weeks, as Rav Ginsburg, Yitzhak Ginsburg has a beautiful little pamphlet, and it's hard to believe so much Torah can be packed into such a little pocket-sized book. But he has a beautiful book on the Sfirat HaOmer, and he describes how Netzach is really the transition point, that the first 3 weeks are really building up what he calls midos shel halev, right? That Chesed and Devorah and Tiferet are really trying to get our thoughts and our heart to be in the right place, so that when Netzach comes along, which is the week we're starting now we're ready to move, right? Netzach is the midah of movement. It's the right leg. It's going. We're starting to go somewhere. Hopefully by now, if we've been working on our loving kindness and creating the boundaries that we need and creating that beautiful balance of it all, and we have our head on straight and our heart is in the right place. So now I'm ready to bring myself into concrete action, right? So now is when I really want to take everything that I've done for the last 3 weeks and really actualize it. And don't be surprised if up until this point you've been doing fine with this whole process, that now the Yetzer Hara is going to try to nab you, because again, you're very likely, and I don't want to scare anybody here, but you're very likely to experience some resistance as we move from this realm of our thoughts and our feelings to the realm of action. So very briefly, Netzach is, just to define it briefly, and then we'll go through day by day what each day represents. But in a general sense, Netzach is endurance, it's fortitude, it's consistency. It connotes the meaning of being victorious. And the meaning that I'm really going to hone us in on is this idea of eternality, right? Nitzchias. So what is it that enables us to push through when we're experiencing resistance, right? I just told you that don't be surprised if the Yitzhahara is going to give you a good fight this week. So what is it where is that resistance coming from? And the truth is that any resistance that I feel to change or to transform myself, that's all coming from the body. That's all coming from the ego part of myself that feels separate from Hashem. It's really the opposite of Eno Novado, right? Whenever I feel like I'm some sort of separate, independent being, so that's when I can become controlling. That's when Netzach can, so to speak, be distorted, or that's the damaged part of the Mida, the counterfeit part of the Mida, is when I start to be domineering, or I want to take control of a situation. That's all my body talking. So what is the part of us that is the pure part of expressing Netzach, right? So the key to endurance, the key to godly endurance, as opposed to, say, human endurance, is to plug into the part of myself that is Nitzchi, right? I carry within me a Nitzchi aspect, which is what? Which is my divinely given soul, right? My neshama that Hashem breathed into me is Chelek Elokai Mimal, is an aspect of Hashem Himself. So really, what gives us the ability to have what we'll call a godly endurance is this inner push from inside of me, and really the key to living a life with endurance, with Netzach, is to live a life as a neshama, is to learn. I have to learn, how can I tap into the Nitzchi soulful part of myself? Because the more that I'm going to learn to live my life day by day, the more I'm going to learn to access myself as a soul, which is the Nitzchi part of my being, right? The more I'm going to be able to overcome any resistance that the Yitzhahara wants to throw into my way. And this is the avoda that we're going to be working on, right? It's how to identify as a soul. And the more that we learn to do that, in Yir Hashem, please Hashem, the more victorious we will be. Thank you.